Okay, so here we are again looking at some examples now on what exactly is it that I'm teaching you. All right, so I have here several examples that we're going to cover, some different types. How are these problems going to be presented to you? All right, so let's look at number 1. I have v plus 8 being multiplied by a 2v plus 4. So again, remember, I'm going to apply this by using the distributive property here. Okay, so you want to take v and multiply it by 2v. And what is v times 2v? Okay, well, that'll give you 2v to the second power. And then take the v and multiply it by 4, and that'll give you 4v. Okay, so you've distributed the v off. Now you're going to do the 8. Okay, so what is 8 times 2v? Well, that'll give you 16v. And then 8 times 4, which is 32. Again, remember, guys, when you are multiplying or dividing, we touch the exponents. That's what we did here. That's how I was able to tell you that v times 2v was 2v squared. Now that the problem is turned into an addition or subtraction problem, all you do is what? Right, combine like terms. So you have 2v squared, nothing really to combine there. There's no other v squareds. 4v and 16v gives you 20v. And then drop down the plus 32. And you've just multiplied that polynomial out. Okay? All right, let's try another one, number 2. We've got 7b plus 3 and 4b minus 8. So, here we go. Careful now. We're distributing the 7b. 7b times a 4b. Okay, so if that's overwhelming to you, just do a piece at a time. 7 times 4 is 28. And b times b gives you b squared. Okay, 7b times a negative 8. Careful now, that's a negative 8 is a minus 56b. All right, so you've distributed the 7b. Now let's distribute the other side, the 3. 3 times 4b is a plus 12b. And 3 times negative 8 is a negative 24. All right. Now the problem is turned into an addition or subtraction problem, so we need to combine like terms. Okay, so I've got 28b squared here. Are there any other b squareds? No, so just drop it down. Okay, you got 56b and a 12b. So when you combine those together, you get negative 44b. And then this is just a plain old number, negative 24. There's no other plain numbers. So just drop that down, and you're done. Okay, it's as easy as that. You just really have to take your time multiplying here. Now, I'm going to show you the same problem. However, I'm going to show you a really common mistake that I do not want you to make. So I want you to watch this. So just put your pens down and just watch me for a moment. Okay, so I'm going to pull this whiteboard over here for a moment, and I'm going to write down that same problem and show you this. Okay, 7b plus 3. And then we had a 4b minus 8. Okay? This is the most common mistake I see that I do not want you to make. And it's actually the first multiplication, believe it or not. This 7b and 4b, okay, a crucial mistake that students will make, they will say that this is 28b. Okay? Why is that wrong? Because it should have been b squared. But I'm still going to continue the problem and show you the mistake that the student would make. Okay, so continue your multiplication, 7b times this, that'll give you negative 56b. Okay, then you've got this 3 times this, which will give you 12b. And then 3 times a negative 8 is a negative 24. Okay, now, we're at the point where we're adding and subtracting now. And now, if you did make that mistake, okay, by not putting the b squared here, notice what happens. You now have 3 terms to combine, which odds are the student is probably going to do that. So when you add all 3 of these up, you get negative 16b minus 24. And that is absolutely incorrect. Okay? All wrong, all baloney. Remember, b times b, x times x, v times v, okay, it's that squared. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Because believe me, when you take your state test at the end, the EOC, this will be one of the answer choices. And you do not want to pick that one. Okay? So, I promise I'm done with my speech now. All right, now, let's continue some more problems. All right, I'm kind of skipping 3 here for a moment to jump to another concept. Look at number 4. 5 plus a to the second power. Okay, that's definitely not what I just taught you. Now, this is another crucial mistake that students will make. They will automatically say, oh, just take the 5 and square it, take the a and square it, and hey, guess what? I am done. Okay, again, sad face, wrong, no, you do not want to do that. Okay, so let me put that down real quick, and you may want to write this down if you're following along with me. But the answer is not equal to 25 plus a squared. No. Okay? Now, that may be part of the answer, but that's not the entire answer. Okay? Now, what does 5 plus a to the second power actually mean? Is anyone picking up on this, do you think? Okay, if I asked you this, let me just kind of rewrite it up here for a moment. If I asked you 5 to the 6th power, I don't really want the answer. I can care less. I want you to tell me, what does that actually mean? Okay, right. That means to expand this out 6 times, right? With multiplication. That's what 5 to the 6th power actually means. All right? So why did I bring that up to your attention? Because now what do you think 5 plus a to the second power means? Okay, exactly. Write it out twice. Expand it. So if I write this out twice, 5 plus a times 5 plus a, now that looks like something that we've been doing. Now you're back to what we've been doing. All right? So let's go ahead and do it. Distribute. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times an a is 5a. Okay. Let's do the other one now. Distribute the a. A times 5 is 5a. And a times a is a squared. Right, it's not a. Okay? Now, it's turned into an addition problem now. And what's the rule for that? Correct, combine like terms. So I see 25 here. There's nothing, no other plain number, so I'm just going to drop that down. 5a and 5a will give you 10a. And then you'll get a squared. So yes, 25 and a squared were part of the answer. However, the 10a was neglected. You're not going to get a 10a out of this. So remember, this right here, you do not want. I was trying to show you there a mistake to avoid. Okay? All right, let's go to number 5. Again, 7n minus 2, but it's to the second power. Okay, so what the first thing you should do is, expand it out. Write it out twice. So 7n minus 2 and 7n minus 2. All right, and now we start multiplying. 7n times 7n is 49n squared, despite popular opinion. Okay? 7n times negative 2 is negative 14n. A negative 2 times the 7n is another negative 14n. And negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4. Okay? Now you've got an addition or subtraction problem, which means to just combine like terms. So your answer to this is going to be 49n squared minus 28n plus 4. Okay? Moving on to number 6. And guys, look, if I'm just going way too fast for you, just please, that's the beauty of the video. Just pause it. Okay, don't get yourself overwhelmed. Take one thing at a time. Okay, 6. We've got 6r minus 1 and 6r plus 1. Okay? We don't have to expand anything, so we just a plain old problem. Let's go ahead and do it. 6r times 6r is 36r to the second power. 6r times a 1 is a plus 6r. Okay? Now let's go back in here and do the other one. Negative 1 times 6r is a negative 6r. Be very careful at that step there. And negative 1 times a positive 1 is a negative 1. Now, We're adding and subtracting, which means to just combine like terms. So 36r squared. There's no other r squared, so just drop it down. Now, 6r combined with a negative 6r, what happens? Correct. You should have said something like they cancel out, they equal 0. And you know, if you think about this for a moment, when we covered systems a while back, wasn't this sort of like what happened with elimination? You had a positive and a negative. It was the same thing, but they were just different by signs. So again, they're just going to eliminate. They're gone. Okay, and then this thing is left, so just drop down the -1. And that is your answer. And yes, that is going to happen sometimes. So it is crucial to make sure that your multiplication steps, guys, are right on the money. Okay, and that, because you know, if you accidentally put down that this negative 6r was a positive, then you would have had 12 r's here and your answer would have been wrong. Okay, so just be really, really careful. Okay, all right, I'm going to skip to number 8. Okay, now, yes, I know it looks like I'm doing the absolute most now. However, I'm trying to educate you guys, so please bear with me. You have now a binomial, 2 terms, multiplying by a 1, 2, 3 trinomial. Okay? Same concept is going to happen, except you're just going to have a couple more multiplications. But I think you can handle this. So let's go ahead and start with the 5x. 5x times the 5x squared is 25 what? X to the, is it to the second? No, it's to the third, right. It's to the third because you've got 1x, we're multiplying, so we need to touch the exponents. 1 plus 2 gives you the 3, okay? 5x times a 5x is 25x squared, and 5x times -7 is a -35x. Okay, now let's do the bottom part. -7 times a 5x squared is a -35x squared. -7 times a 5x is a -35x. And -7 times a -7 is a +49. Okay? Now, yes, you did do 6 multiplications, and to answer your question, no, you are not done yet. You still need to combine like terms. So, let's start with the cube. See any other cubes here? Nope, drop it down. You've got 25x squared and a -35x squared. How much is that going to be? Right, -10x squared. You've got a -35x and a -35x. That gives you a -70x. And then a +49. And see, yes, you can do that. All right? So, essentially, that's all the material that I'm going to teach you. In the next video, we're going to be trying 4 try problems just to make sure that you understand this. But essentially, you multiply and then combine like terms. It's as easy as that. Okay, so please try in the next video the try problems and do your best.